Hi, this is Paul for the Tech Modeler channel with a quick update on the Battle of the Coral Sea Lady Lexington Memorial build, which runs from the 5th of the 4th 2018 to the 5th of the 8th 2019. So I've got plenty of time, but I decided to go back onto this for a little while now to get a bit further along. What I've done is actually there's two structures you can see are not actually glued in place. They're not there, so they basically lift on and off, so I can when it comes to painting I can spray them all in one part and basically deal with it easier than actually trying to spray it while it's actually on the deck, because as you know I'm going to attempt my first wooden deck on this particular model. But anyway, let's go back into it. So what you can see is all the structures are built up, basically, so this whole platform lifts off along with the actual funnel, which this is called the island, if I remember rightly from a carrier, because it's a flat top, as the Americans used to call them. And basically it's two structures separate. There is a bridge going across, you can see here, which has got its photo etch on it, which I'll zoom in a minute and show you. That is actually glued this side but not glued on that side. I've got some ladders to do and some steps in various areas here, and a bit more railings to go around. But I thought if I do a quick update now, it gives you an idea what I'm doing at the moment, and I'm not sitting around idle, as it were. Anyway, so here we go. So this is a structure going. I've got photo etching in this place, here, down here. Same on the other side. I won't show the other side, but it is the same on the other side. You can see the actual photo etch for the funnel is actually there, but that was there earlier. So anyway, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit here now, and so you can go a bit closer. So here we go. Now I think you can see the photo etching quite nicely there, and there she is across the bridge, both sides round. Now I decided to glue to the side rather than on top. The reason for that is to get a bit more of a bond, and when I looked at it, it still can see the four rails there. It still shows up, but it's glued to the side. It allows me to put dabs onto super glue to actually get it to stay there, and then run very thin, which is this super glue I'm using, very thinly. This one. I'll come a bit further away there. I don't want to knock my model, but there you go. This is the one I'm using, and very good for actually running it through. And what I do is I put it in a little tray like this, and there you go. I'll show. There it is. And what I use is this tool, and I don't know if this is going to do a focus for me, but it should do. I'm using a pin, and I think you'll be able to see that. A pin, a darning needle, basically cut off the end, so it's got a little U shape like this, and the glue actually, when you put it in, it gathers in that little trough and allows you to run it along the rail, which is quite good. And I put it on the rail and I run along, and it fills it in with super glue, the very fine stuff, runs along the seam. The capillary action takes it along the actual seams running along the side here. So that's what I've done on that bit. And I've actually got the railing up on the bridge up here, which you can't see, so if I take it up fractionally, yeah, I think you can see that now. Sorry about the movement of the camera. There she is. That's good. It's all round the inside. Now, it doesn't show railing on the instructions for there, but when I've seen the photographs, and pretty obvious, if you've got seamen moving around up here, no matter who they are, the last thing you want is to lose balance and fall straight over. So there's barriers everywhere else. So I've actually done that, and I've noticed there's one photograph of Lexinton earlier in her career with a bit of netting, railings around this area, so I've done that as well. I've actually added, and I'm going to go to the other part in a minute, but I've actually wish I'd had put a floor in this bit here. If you look there, you can actually see through there anyway. But I'm going to be doing crystal clear in all these windows, so that's what I'll be doing right at the end. But I wished I put a temporary floor in there, because it should have had a floor between each one. So, but there you go, you can't odds it, and I'd done it, glued it together, and then realised I could have put a floor in there. Too late, but it doesn't really matter. Coming back the other way, and if I come slowly round, I think you can see a little bit more of the railing down here, comes around a curve. Now I may have to add a little bit of extra flooring here, and add a bit of railing around the side, because there's a ladder runs up the side here, and basically it seems to go to nowhere. So what I'm going to do is run the railing up as high as it goes, and then basically put it so you can actually lean across and step onto this area. But that's what I'm going to do. Put that. But that I've seen it in some of the photographs, so that might be okay as well. I think you can see the railing on top of the funnel here. Let's go. That is actually three bits of railing, one for the curves, one each for the curves, and one bar in the middle. I've done that. Down the back it's one piece of railing, which you won't see because I've got to turn it. So if I turn slowly round, There you go. You can see the railings there, basically. Now, another reason for actually putting it down on the running the rail along the side, as I don't know if you noticed, these actual barriers are quite high. But if I put that where most people put it, it would be riding above that level. When I look at the photographs, I can't see them being above that level. So that's another reason for it. Right, I'm going to go a bit lower now so you can see. So excuse me, let's go. Here we go. So I'm going to come down. Got to come down. No, it's not going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift the camera off and show you what I mean. So no, I'm not. I'm going to do something else. So I'm just going to freeze it temporarily. So just going to freeze it for a couple of seconds. Hi, I'm back. Sorry about that, actually, to change the camera angle. But basically, I think you can see under here, there's a balcony. It's the same on the other side. And what I've done is I've had the photo etch round that. Again, in the photographs, you can see on some of the earlier pictures of Lexington. But when you see anything after that, I can't notice it so much. But it is there. And I did see a blurred out area of this in a late photograph while it was in Pearl Harbor, so I've actually gone with it anyway, because there is a door comes out and then there's a ladder that was actually in the mould going up to this area. But the only problem I've got with some of the ladders go up and they don't go anywhere, they just go to a solid bottom. So I'm presuming there was a cutout above that for a crew member to come out there and get to the anti-aircraft machine guns or machine guns all the way around this area from certain locations to actually allow access to it. So what I've done is I've actually cut 4 holes, and I think you saw them earlier on. If you're not, I'll do a top-down view in a minute of that. So I'll be putting the ladder on when I start my ladders as well. But I've got a few more railings to do, a little bit more railings to do. But there you go. That's the same on the other side. And also I think you might be able to see if I swing it around a bit, I'll just loosen it off. There you go. And I'll bring it down a bit. There you go. I think you can actually see now the photo etch I've got underneath these. These to replace the plastic parts, and the same. I use the same process. I use thick super glue to actually put it in here, which I can show you now. This is the thick one I used, and I don't know whether it's going to show. No, there you go. That's the thick glue I used. So I used the thick glue, and the other one for the actual running on and actually giving some more reinforcement using that capillary action, the zapper gap as they call it. There you go. If I do that. There you go. So they're the 2 glues I've been using so far. So what I did now is basically, I'll get that to focus now. Don't want to focus now, does it? There you go. Is it going to focus? No, it's not, is it? So if I swing it along and back, perhaps it'll zoom in and focus out. I'm just going to do a little swing test. It might be that little baby over the back's getting a bit of a view, but no mind. There you go. Right, so you can see the 2 platforms here. This is an anti-aircraft one, and this is another platform with anti-aircraft guns as well. You can see the actual brass bits underneath. There's 2. There's one either side, and then on the top one, is it top one or the bottom one? The bottom one, I think it's the bottom one, or the top one's got the top one's got 3 brass bits. And I'd use the same position. I use that yellow cyanate glue, zapper gap glue to actually hold it. That's the actual thick CA to dab it and put in place to hold it there. And then I run the zapper gap across it using my trusty tool there to actually do the job. And it's really nice. It's really on there firmly. Now I'm only going to show you one more piece now. That's going up to the top. And here I go. So if I go a bit higher, I might be able to show you this without mucking about. There, I think you can see now a little bit better there are the chimney bits as well. So they're all, everything's there. Photo etch is really nice. I've got to actually paint. That's not actually sitting there probably, but it will do. There you go. If it sits down. I've actually got to do some more work on the ladders, like I said. And another thing I've actually done is, it's not going to show too well, but I'm going to try and swing this round and give you an idea. Right, so if I come back down to here. Sorry about that, I was going to move the camera around and drop it down in there. There you go. Now what I've got there, let's put this on a bit better, there you go. What I've got there is, you might not be able to see it well, is I've got the lift just sitting in there because it slides down these runners here. I'm going to have that lift halfway up here coming up to the deck with a couple of aircraft on. And I'll put an aircraft inside the hangar because there's a floor there, I'll put a false floor in to actually allow for that. Now, whether that's prototypical or not 100% sure, but when I've looked at the photographs, the hangar bay in this area is quite high, and he would be obviously for the aircraft. But obviously it's all fighters on this one with a few Devastators and things. But so this will be glued, so it's halfway up, coming up. I think you'll be able to see a plane underneath here waiting to come up. But the lifts on the Lexington were very slow, so very slow indeed. So you know there's. So, and plus another problem is the back one, which you saw earlier on, which is back there. That one there is basically was defunct during the Coral Sea battle. It was actually defective. They never did repair it before it went out. So this was the only lift they had using, and they was going. Now, one thing I wished I'd done, and I can't get in, and I don't want to muck about with it, is just in here, these two ledges here. I would have liked to have moved them down a bit further, but at the end of the day, I couldn't now. It's too late. I should have done that when I actually had them in pieces. But live and learn. If I ever build another carrier and put a deck inside, I will always think about that. Right, so let's come back to this off. I'm going to bring it back round. And move my camera slightly. Sorry about this. And bring her up. And come back out wide. That's it, and that's what she looks like. And so that's my progress so far. Thank you for being patient with this. This is a long build anyway, as I said, and I'm just going to show the card there just so you can see what this is, the build I'm building. There she is. That's the build. There you go. Should have had that at the beginning, but there you go. Really happy with it so far. I'll show you a bit about the actual carrier deck later on. You've seen it was actually built up, but with a lot more bit details needed to add into that. But what I have found is on the side of the hull, there's lots of pieces that evidently people have been cutting out to make them all elongated, because it looks like one of the photographs in the publication I got. What I found out is they're actually double doors, so basically some of them would be halfway closed because they got a split between the doors, so the bottom half was closed and the top half was open. What I have got to do is rescribe the doors at the bottom part, because that's what the trumpeter didn't do. But them doors can be left closed because they can either be half closed or completely closed. So everyone that stripped it out basically could have left it as it is. So anyway, that's just something I found out, and I can't bring the carrier. I might be able to bring the carrier. I will do that actually. Sorry, I'm going to bring it over. I'm not going to muck about too much. Hopefully this will be okay. But I think you can see what I mean. I was going to cut them out. That's why I've got that line across. But I found out the bottom halves of these are actually doors. These are all doors that open up. Obviously at sea, they can actually close them up. But during normal operations, they could be opened up to let ventilation into all the working areas below decks. So just a little thing. So you can see what I was up to there. So there we go. I'll put that back up there. But anyway. So that's the end of my quick update on my Lexington, and I'll catch you on the next video. Happy modelling. Bye.